Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? Uh, I'm going to continue with something I haven't done in a while. The most underappreciated movies in the world. I got numbers 85 and 86 because last time I looked, um, I had back in March 13th of last year, I had number 84, which was Corvette Summer, and I wanted to do 100 of these, and I forgot all about it, and I got caught up in food reviews and stuff. So I wanted to do parts 85 and 86 today. This is the Richard Stanley collection. The movies are Hardware and Dust Devil. And I saw them both tonight on Netflix. And Hardware, I knew about Hardware a while back because when I was in Germany, well, I saw it in Germany, rented it on video. I missed it at the theater, the military theater. But I remember we have one station, the AFN, Armed Forces Network, and it's like a bunch of stuff from different networks all thrown into one network. And they had Entertainment Tonight, and Entertainment Tonight made such a big deal about the movie because it was controversial because it had to be edited down because of extreme violence and sex. It was going to get an X rating, and they had to edit it down to an R rating. And this was before NC-17. NC-17 didn't come out for another year and a half. I know Cisco and Ebert wanted to go for a rating of A. They were petitioning MPAA to go for A rating, meaning adult, and then they compromised. They said NC-17. A year and a half later, no one under 17 be admitted without adult, right? And just like people used to complain about there being too much violence in PG-rated movies, and then they came up with PG-13 rating. And the first PG-13 rated movie was Dreamscape, and the first NC-17 movie was Henry and June. And when I was in Fort Bragg, we were going to go to see the remake of Night of the Living Dead. And the guy said, why don't we go see Henry and June instead? In a way, I wanted to see Night of the Living Dead, so we wanted to see Night of the Living Dead because that's what we were going to go see anyways. And he said, in a way, I kind of wish I would have because I never saw an NC-17 rating movie in a theater. I probably never will again because they don't play NC-17 anymore. You know, that thing has come and gone. They still have the NC-17 rating, but they don't play those in the movie theaters anymore because it's like the kiss of death. It's just like having an X rating, you know. Well, anyways, Hardware. When Hardware is set in a post-apocalyptic world, and this guy, they have like the scrap collector, and they go to this one place, and this guy finds this head of this robot, and the guy looks at it and he said it's probably like a maintenance droid, and he has a girlfriend who does like art, and she does like metal art. If you ever seen those people with who like weld pieces of metal and make their own creative art pieces, that's what she does. And he said, well, this would be great for her. And he takes it to her house, and it's her girlfriend anyways. And she starts to work with it, and she painted like red, white, and blue and stars and stuff all over it. And it finds out later that it's anti-population military droid, and all hell breaks loose. And it can also reconstruct itself. So it reconstructs itself into a killer robot, and you gotta see it from there. And one other thing I liked about it is they had a lot of rock and roll stars in it. Iggy Pop was in it, playing a crazy DJ named Crazy Bob. The weird thing was when she was turning channels early in the movie, they had a music video for the song Stigmata from Ministry. And instead of having a band Ministry, they had a band Guar in it, dancing and stuff like that and performing. And that's not a Guar song; it's a Ministry song. So that was different. And then they had like a water taxi at the beginning, and the water taxi driver was Lemmy. And he said, where are you guys going? And they said, wherever. And he said, hey, do you like music? And he said, you guys got to check these guys out. And he turns on the radio, and it was the song Ace of Spades from Motorhead, his band, which I thought was really funny. But it's a great movie. A little slow moving in parts, but it's really, really good. Like I said, I don't know, the version I saw now on Netflix was the uncut version, but it was cut down to R rating, void the X rating, and it was made a big deal about on Entertainment Tonight back then. I mean, there was a handful of movies that they made a big deal about that I really stand out and the time I was in Germany. Two real controversial ones. Besides from that, really more controversial. The movie Wired, the movie about John Belushi that killed Michael Chiklis's career almost before it started, and his career was pretty much dead until he was in the show The Commish, and then he was in the show The Shield, and then his career is all right now. But it really hurt his career, and that was his first movie, and that was a big bomb. A lot of people hate that movie. Dan Aykroyd really hated that movie. Also, the movie The Last Temptation of Christ, the Martin Scorsese movie, and that was the one that they had a big announcement on the military news that AFN will not be buying that movie to show to its troops. AFN shows everything, including the Blue Iguana, which no one ever saw. They showed that movie, they showed. I remember seeing Howling 3, the marsupials, at an afternoon viewing. But they wouldn't. They said they're not buying that one. Surprised me, and they won't buy any like NC-17. I never saw an NC-17 at the military theater. Like I think the first NC-17 movie I saw was either Wild Orchid or the Ken Russell movie Whore. But I'm gonna. Then this was before Showgirls, because Showgirls came out when I was out of the army. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. And they also made a big deal about movies, Harlem Nights, Arachnophobia, and Arachnophobia. They're making a big deal about it, and that was right as I was coming out of the army, coming out of Germany and going home. What else? Was there anything else they were making? I think that was pretty much about it. Those are the ones they really made a big deal. Oh, and also Problem Child. They made a big deal about that movie too. Alright, now the next movie is Dust Devil, and Dust Devil comes out about 3 years after Hardware came out. And I think it was a movie that sat on the shelves and it was not released to theater and went right to video, which is a shame because Dust Devil's cool as hell. And it's a very beautifully made movie, great soundtrack, awesome acting. It's about like they go into the deserts of Africa and they meet this mysterious guy who's also a shapeshifter and practices black magic. And it's a really cool movie. I mean, I give this a 10 out of 10. Hardware gets a 9 out of 10 because some of it's a little slow moving towards the first half. But Dust Devil is a pure 10 out of 10. Lots of action and stuff like that. Like it wasn't a movie that wasn't appreciated at all. Oh, and also Hardware has probably the sleaziest, slimiest, peeping Tom stalker dude in movie history. That dude's a creep. He really was. And that was number 85 and 86 of the most underappreciated movies in the world. And I wondered why Richard Stanley didn't become more successful director, because both of those movies are really good and really shows a very great eye for detail and really stylishly made, especially Dust Devil. They had some really great camera shots in there. And I did a little more research, and I found out that he also was a writer. He wrote Dust Devil too, along with directing it. And he also was directing the 1996 remake of Island of Dr. Moreau, the real crazy one with Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer, and that little teeny tiny guy in there. And he was directing it, and he ended up getting kicked off as director for creative differences, because I guess they were arguing and stuff. But he still wrote the movie. And like I said, he was going to direct it, and then John Frankenheimer took over. And I looked further into his repertoire, and then they said he directed a movie called Flyboys, which I never heard of before. And that went straight to video. That was a PG-rated movie he did in 1999. I think it was more of a family film. And then after that, he wrote the movie The Abandoned in 2006, and that was it. I'm surprised he wasn't a more successful director, because his movies were awesome. I haven't seen Flyboy yet, but if I can find it on Netflix, I'll check it out. So, there you have it. Number 85, Hardware, and number 86, Dust Devil, the most underappreciated movies in the history of the world. I haven't done these in like over a year. Man, time's gone by. Wow. So until next time, check out these movies. They're really cool. And they're both on Netflix. Hardware, and then I assume, I don't know if that's the Hardware one's the uncut version, but Dust Devil is called Dust Devil the Final Cut, and it'll just say Dust Devil, but it's Dust Devil the Final Cut. So until next time, everybody, hey, please take care of my legion.